At Survivor Series, November 14, 1999, the biggest star in the WWE is slated to go to war against The Rock and Triple H with the top prize in the business at stake.
The car just ran over Austin! The car just ran over...
Stone Cold Steve Austin is taken out of the equation, not just for the pay-per-view, but almost a full year. The reality of the situation is that while carrying the WWE on his back, Stone Cold's body couldn't take the weight of the company any longer. It was time to undergo neck surgery and begin the recovery process. But what about the WWE? Losing the top star is surely a major hit. The void left is quickly filled by a man who takes the ball and scores a slam dunk. The Rock was nearly at Austin's level anyway. The WWE superstar would have gone into the year 2000 as an emerging megastar regardless of Austin being present or not. The incomparable Rock is just too big of a deal not to rise to that position. Feuding with the dastardly Triple H, the Great One keeps the business hot, scorching hot. So much so that he bursts out of the WWE bubble and the rest of the world is forced to take notice. The Rock becomes what Stone Cold Steve Austin was before him, an entity seemingly bigger than the WWE itself. Speaking of Stone Cold, when he returns from injury, the top spot that The Rock occupies is in Austin's line of sight. But first things first, finding out who was behind the wheel at Survivor Series and quenching his bloodthirsty appetite. Rikishi turns out to have done the deed. Why would the fun-loving, rotund, dancing fool commit such a heinous act? In Rikishi's own words, he did it for The Rock. He did it to erase the Great White Hope, making room for an island boy, a Samoan, to finally claim the top spot that eluded previous greats from their bloodline. It sounds nice, but it eventually turns out not to be that deep. Regardless of why, Stone Cold Steve Austin isn't at all interested. He just wants to deal with Rikishi in his own way. We come to No Mercy, October 22, 2000. In a no-holds-barred match, Austin and Rikishi have anything but a professional wrestling contest. It's a one-sided assault. Austin lets loose months of frustration. His intentions aren't merely to beat the daylights out of his opponent. Austin looks to commit vehicular homicide, with the law being the only thing standing in the way of certain doom. The Texas Rattlesnake's shocking actions lands him in police custody. The Rock defends the championship in the No Mercy main event against Kurt Angle. Without Austin around, Rikishi tries to assist in the match, but he screws everything up. Kurt Angle hits an Olympic slam to walk out of the pay-per-view as the new WWE champion. The next night on Raw, Rikishi vows to help The Rock regain the title. The Rock wants nothing to do with him. Rikishi's insistence to help The Rock frustrates the Great One into laying the big man out with a rock bottom. Later that night, Kurt Angle has a title defense against both The Rock and Triple H. Rikishi once again makes things worse because he attacks Kurt Angle, causing a disqualification. Austin shows up. He's not through with Rikishi. The big man escapes Stone Cold's wrath, but he can't run for long. Rikishi ends up taunting Austin into a physical exchange, but on the way to the ring, a mysterious figure bloodies Stone Cold with a wrench. Despite the setback, Austin still makes his way out for a fight. But after having his bell rung, Rikishi gets the better of him. The two men end up meeting in a steel cage. Not your typical cage match that can end in escape, mind you. This can only end in pinfall, and with a Stone Cold Stunner, Austin walks away victorious. Rikishi's night isn't quite finished. After The Rock defeats Chris Jericho in the main event, Rikishi shocks everyone when he attacks The Rock. He says the hit and run he pulled off wasn't his idea. It was The Rock who masterminded the attack, and Rikishi says he's done covering for him. The Rock denies Rikishi's allegations. However, Austin isn't so sure an old enemy can be trusted. After a back and forth involving Kurt Angle and Rikishi, the Rattlesnake strikes, letting The Rock know he's not buying what The Rock's selling. Someone is definitely working with Rikishi. Someone tries to crush Austin with a crate. The Rock tries to win the title back against Kurt Angle in the main event. Rikishi attacks the challenger, causing a disqualification. When The Rock finds himself double-teamed, Stone Cold shows up to fight the antagonists. The Rock gets payback for earlier with a rock bottom. Austin and The Rock are forced to join forces, as they will be taking on Rikishi and Kurt Angle. However, The Rock is taken out of the picture due to a mysterious sneak attack. This leaves Austin by his lonesome to engage Rikishi and Angle. Help shows up in the form of Triple H. Yes, to the fans' excitement, they expect Triple H to do what's right. The game is normally despised, but in recent months, he's been at odds with the Olympic gold medalist. In feuding with him, Triple H has been earning the trust of fans. With a sledgehammer to Austin's head, everyone realizes they were fooled. Triple H and Rikishi work side by side to beat Stone Cold down. And now everyone knows. The hit and run, Rikishi's mystery ally, the cerebral assassin was behind all of it. Rikishi didn't do it for The Rock. He says he didn't care about him. Rikishi did what he did to Austin for Triple H, a man Rikishi says is his real family. Some business needs settled. The Rock and Austin have a match against Rikishi and Triple H. There's almost an immediate DQ. The Radicals bail Triple H out of trouble. You see, when Chris Benoit, Dean Malenko, Perry Saturn, and Eddie Guerrero jumped ship from WCW, the four became Triple H's henchmen because he gave him their jobs. It would appear that alliance has been reignited. Austin and The Rock join forces with Chyna and Billy Gunn to wrestle the Radicals. Austin picks up the win for his team by pinning Eddie Guerrero. This leads to a one-on-one match with Eddie. To keep it one-on-one, Stone Cold targets the rest of Guerrero's faction backstage. Using a forklift, the Radicals stay trapped as Austin wrestles Eddie. His cheating isn't going to save him tonight. Eddie's defeated with a Stone Cold stunner. Stone Cold gets his hands on Triple H at Survivor Series. The match is no disqualification. The two have carte blanche to be as brutal to each other as they see fit. The conflict spills backstage where the Radicals ambush the Rattlesnake. Benoit lures Stone Cold into the parking lot as Triple H awaits to finish what Rikishi started by running Austin over himself. Stone Cold surprises the game with a forklift. He drops the vehicle his nemesis occupies. There's no official finish to the match, but this appears to be game over. Benoit isn't impressed with Austin's use of heavy machinery. This is a wrestling business, and Benoit says there's no way the brawler can out-wrestle him. Austin shows the world that he's not a one-trick pony, he's still a professional wrestler at heart. Defeating Benoit isn't a walk in the park, but a Stone Cold stunner puts the Rabid Wolverine down. The Crippler continues to be a thorn in Stone Cold's side. Tagging with Chris Jericho, Austin has a match against Benoit and Kane. When referee incompetence frustrates the Rattlesnake, a stunner is the answer. This is a no contest, but Austin walks away with a moral victory after hitting his finisher on Kane. The Bionic Redneck finally has the opportunity to win the big one, with the WWE title at stake. This looks to be the end of Kurt Angle's championship reign. It isn't though. Despite the Olympic gold medalist holding his own, Austin hits the stunner. Triple H is back. Austin's quest to be the champion is thwarted. Hell in a Cell is on the horizon. Kurt Angle's championship will be on the line, and yes, Stone Cold will be involved. But so will Rikishi, Triple H, The Undertaker, and even The Rock. Mr. McMahon wants the upcoming match called off. He doesn't want his top money makers involved in such a dangerous match. A Stone Cold stunner, rock bottom, and last ride shut Vince up about the situation. Triple H, Rikishi, and even Kurt Angle work together to lay waste to The Undertaker, The Rock, and Stone Cold Steve Austin backstage. In an all-star main event on SmackDown, Kurt Angle can actually lose his title before Hell in a Cell by defending against The Undertaker, The Rock, and Stone Cold in a fatal four-way. Triple H and Rikishi once again spoil things by attacking everyone. This brings us to Armageddon. It's finally Hell in a Cell time. The biggest names in the WWE participate in steel cage combat with the top prize in the business within grasp. The meddling McMahon tries to dismantle the cell with a truck. Commissioner McFoley shuts McMahon's operations down, saving the match. At least the truck gives Rikishi a place to land after The Undertaker chokeslams him from atop the steel structure. And finally, it happens. Stone Cold and The Rock face-to-face megastar versus megastar. Triple H interrupts the fight, but the seeds are being planted for an earth-shattering confrontation in the future. With merely his fingertips covering The Rock, Kurt Angle survives Hell in a Cell, remaining the WWE Champion. This is a major setback for Stone Cold. The man is totally consumed with becoming WWE Champion one more time, and Stephanie McMahon finds out how dangerous that makes him. Mick Foley's out of the picture. Vince sees his power. His daughter toys with Austin's desires. After being embarrassed by him in front of millions, the billion-dollar princess arranges for Stone Cold to get what he wants. He can get back into title contention by defeating William Regal. Stephanie decides to officiate the match, and well, there's only one way for that to go. An unhinged Austin prepares to do something unconscionable to Stephanie. The only thing sparing her is Big Daddy Vince offering the Rattlesnake another opportunity at the title if he doesn't harm his daughter. This time Stone Cold has to win a triple threat match against Kane and The Undertaker. Of course, McMahon appoints himself as the troubleshooting referee, but that doesn't matter this time. Austin's getting that title shot, and nothing is going to come between him and the gold. Kurt Angle defends the WWE Championship against Stone Cold Steve Austin, but something is off. Last time this happened, Triple H had been off television due to the events at Survivor Series. This time he's been suspiciously absent after the brutality of Hell in a Cell.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist.
With that, the championship once again slips through Stone Cold's fingers. To add injury to insult, the game leaves Austin a bloody mess. Wielding a steel chair, taking out anything that moves, Stone Cold just wants the answer to one question. Is he in the Royal Rumble or not? Vince says he is, and that's that. Stone Cold has been screwed over enough. He has absolute certainty that he's running through 29 other superstars and winning the whole thing. However, he will lose that opportunity if he harms a hair on Triple H's head unprovoked. Likewise, Triple H can't touch Austin, or he'll lose his upcoming title shot against Kurt Angle. Triple H does everything he can to anger Austin into throwing the first punch. Austin has to subdue every natural instinct not to strike the game down. At the Royal Rumble event, this ceasefire stipulation ends. Austin pays Triple H back for everything in helping Kurt Angle retain the championship. Triple H goes on to brutalize Stone Cold before even stepping foot in the Royal Rumble. The blood-soaked brawler doesn't allow that to slow him down. He said he's going to win this thing, and he meant those words. It comes down to Stone Cold, The Rock, and Kane. Fans erupt at Austin and the Great One going at it. Kane uses their struggle to eliminate one obstacle, however Stone Cold is something else this night. Honestly, so is Kane. These two men give it their all. Using a chair to scramble Kane's brains with 3 headshots, Austin punches his ticket to WrestleMania, where a showdown with the champion awaits. Before any of that, issues with Triple H must first be settled. The chaos these two create is so severe that the ceasefire is once again enacted. In signing the contract for a match at No Way Out, the two wrestlers are banned from fighting. Of course, the cerebral assassin is savvy enough to put one more beating on his hated rival before putting ink to paper. Stone Cold takes the opportunity to push Triple H's buttons, even helping Kurt Angle get another pinfall over Triple H. In the ultimate troll job, Vince McMahon forces Triple H and Stone Cold to coexist in a no disqualification match against Kurt Angle and The Rock. Austin has no problem in assisting in his tag partner's loss to Kurt Angle. The McMahon manipulation continues. For their upcoming match, either Austin or Triple H will be able to pick the stipulation. However, their representatives must win a match. Representing Stone Cold, the man who ran him over, Rikishi. Representing Triple H, a man whose guts he hates, The Rock. The Brahma Bull picks up the win over his stout adversary. Triple H then picks the stipulation. An unusual 2 out of 3 falls match. First fall, pure wrestling. Second fall, street fight. Third fall, steel cage. Stone Cold survives another hellacious encounter with the Rabid Wolverine, even with Triple H getting involved. For that, Austin involves himself in Triple H's match with The Rock. SmackDown ends in utter pandemonium. Now, while Austin can't harm Triple H, no one ever said anything about his wife. The game is completely livid. He can't do anything to Austin over this. The Rock and Stone Cold find themselves as allies again, wrestling the dream team of Chris Benoit and Kurt Angle. Triple H joins commentary, vowing to completely dismantle Stone Cold. Austin nails a stunner, but Triple H interrupts the count. Benoit inadvertently blasts Triple H in the face with the title. The Wolverine eats a rock bottom and the match ends. The tension between Stone Cold and Triple H is soon about to erupt, but there's one last stop before the match. On SmackDown, the cerebral assassin puts a cherry on top of all of this by giving a pedigree to Austin's friend Jim Ross. The stage is set. Two men, driven by hate, are about to beat the sense out of one another. The fists fly at No Way Out. Stone Cold smartly targets Triple H's arm, making it hard for him to hook Austin for the pedigree. The game takes advantage of Stone Cold's knee brace wrapped legs, looking for a submission. Austin wins with a stunner, but the men immediately begin the street fight as round 2 begins. Stone Cold batters Triple H's spine with suplexes on the rampway. After taking a monitor to the face, Hunter realizes he's getting more than he bargained for. He tries to get away, but that's not happening. His already hurt back absorbs chair shots. A 2x4 wrapped in barbed wire opens Stone Cold up. Still having a problem executing the pedigree, Triple H goes through the Spanish announce table. After targeting Stone Cold's surgically repaired neck, a sledgehammer is the game changer. Triple H finally nails the pedigree to win the second fall. The cage is lowered. The final chapter of this epic encounter begins. The men rip and tear at each other with a barbed wire 2x4. Jim Ross makes it clear you can't win by escaping. That doesn't stop Triple H from trying to climb out of this mess, but he does nail another pedigree. Austin, to the shock of many, kicks out. Likewise, the game kicks out of the stunner. Austin grabs the 2x4, Triple H grabs the sledgehammer. The men clash. Triple H collapses atop Austin and he wins the third fall. It's finally over. Fantastic match. The ramifications for Austin's future lie heavy with the No Way Out main event as The Rock pins Kurt Angle to reclaim the WWE Championship. The next night, the new champion calls out Kurt Angle. What he gets is the Royal Rumble winner. The road to WrestleMania is about to be traveled, and no one is ready for what exactly that means for the Rattlesnake. Later, when The Rock is the recipient of a 3-on-1 attack from Kurt Angle, Albert, and Perry Saturn, Stone Cold emerges as backup. The Rock makes it known he doesn't want or need Austin's help. Austin says he just wants to keep The Rock healthy for WrestleMania. McMahon throws a monkey wrench into this. The Rock must defend the title against William Regal. Stone Cold has Kurt Angle in singles action. The gold medalist medals in The Rock's match, causing a DQ. Regal does the same in the Angle-Austin main event, causing another DQ. Austin battles both men only for The Rock to stalk the Rattlesnake. There's no rock bottom. The Great One merely lets Austin know he could lay him out at any time. Triple H and Kurt Angle tag against Austin and his WrestleMania opponent. Vince plays a dirty trick and appoints Deborah, Stone Cold's wife, as The Rock's manager. Deborah distracts the referee when Austin has Angle beaten, leading to The Rock getting the pin for himself. This new dynamic lends itself to an already combustible situation. Deborah accompanies The Rock in a handicap match against Rikishi and Haku. After getting the win, The Rock is taken out and Deborah is in harm's way. Austin makes the save, but is surprised that Deborah stays behind looking after her client. The Rock puts his title on the line against Kurt Angle. Angle refuses to let the ankle lock go when the champion reaches the ropes. The match is thrown out. Angle does the unthinkable, putting Deborah in the ankle lock. An angry husband defends his wife, but The Rock eats a stunner for not protecting Deborah. Austin looks to tear Angle apart in a no disqualification match. The Rock gets involved and tastes yet another Stone Cold stunner before Austin defeats Kurt Angle, continuing their tit-for-tat when The Rock and Chris Jericho unite against William Regal, Kurt Angle, and Chris Benoit. The heels succeed in dastardly fashion. Austin throws himself into the mix when post-match shenanigans get underway. The Rock wins this round of one-upmanship, finally standing tall. In a sit-down interview, Stone Cold has this to say to The Rock.
I need to beat you, Rock. I need it more than anything that you can ever imagine.
We begin to understand this as SmackDown ends. Austin had been adamant that he helped keep the champion healthy for WrestleMania. When Angle looks to break The Rock's ankle, Austin just watches from the back. It would seem Stone Cold is now willing to pick apart a less than healthy opponent. The Rock and Austin team for one last time before WrestleMania, this time against the monstrous force of Kane and The Undertaker. Triple H has his own issues with Taker going on, leading to Austin picking up the win. Austin celebrates, but The Rock sends a message, not with a rock bottom this time. Austin's laid out with his own Stone Cold Stunner. Austin can respect that. No man has ever used his own finisher against him. Stone Cold offers a toast to The Rock in the most condescending manner possible. Both men lose their cool and they finally throw hands. To protect his WrestleMania main event, McMahon instructs referees, other WWE superstars, security, and police to contain the violence and save the mayhem for Sunday. For not nipping the situation in the bud, Deborah is relieved of her managerial duties. She will not be a factor going into the WrestleMania main event. This brings us to April 1st, 2001, WrestleMania 17. The two biggest names in sports entertainment finally meet in the name of supremacy. However, for some strange reason, the match is announced as no disqualification. Houston, Texas is solidly behind Stone Cold Steve Austin. This man is their hero, and everyone wants to witness history as he rises to the top one more time. Both men don the crimson mask through this struggle for primacy. As blood gushes from Austin's face while he struggles to survive the Rock's sharpshooter, we're reminded of how Bret Hart defeated the Rattlesnake at WrestleMania 13. A desperate challenger locks in the $1 Million Dream, a submission from his days as the ringmaster. The Rock's counter nearly pins Austin. Once again, a callback to Bret Hart defeating Stone Cold, this time from Survivor Series 1996. The champion steals the Stone Cold Stunner like in the build-up to this encounter for a near fall. This is when Mr. McMahon shows up, however, no one knows why. Finally, The Rock is about to taste victory with a people's elbow until...
McMahon just pulled The Rock off of Austin. What the hell did he do that for?
Vince McMahon has just saved Stone Cold Steve Austin from certain defeat. Austin capitalizes by stealing The Rock's finisher for a close call. Austin nails a low blow and the situation becomes clear when McMahon nails The Rock with a chair at the behest of the challenger. The champion hits The Rock bottom, but Vince's presence spares Austin defeat. Austin finally seemingly has this. The stunner is hit. Somehow The Rock pulls through though. He even refuses to stay down to a vicious chair shot. A furious challenger finally unleashes a terrifying barrage of cold steel to beat The Rock lifeless. With that, history is made. Not only is Stone Cold once again the WWE Champion, but he stands triumphant with Vince McMahon at his side. Not only has Stone Cold betrayed every fan who stuck with him on his journey to the mountaintop, he betrayed himself. The man he was died at WrestleMania 17, and from the ashes someone else is born. A coward, scared to death of ever slipping from relevance again, even if that means aligning himself with Triple H of all people. Stone Cold's fall from grace sees him assault his longtime friend Jim Ross. He begins competing with Kurt Angle for Mr. McMahon's affection. He even tries to kill the company he helped rescue during the Monday Night Wars by joining the Alliance. Stone Cold's descent into madness is rather interesting, but that's a story for another time. For now, let's wrap this up. If you stuck around to watch this whole thing, I thank you for your time. If you enjoyed the video, that's even better.